Hey, what is happening, everybody? You are back with the Real PG for another NFL player props video for Sunday, November the 20th. Before we get started, if I could ask you guys to please smash that like button. We're looking for upwards of 100 likes on today's video. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure to get subscribed today. And make sure to hit that bell button for the most up-to-date information on player injuries, player line movement, and anything else in regards to today's slate. Last but not least, there's going to be two links in your description section. One is for the free Discord, the other is for the VIP paid Patreon. Check them both out. The Discord is about 600 like-minded people constantly talking NFL, NBA player props, talking Prizepicks, talking Thrive, talking some of our favorite places to gamble. So let's take a peek at some of these player props for Sunday, with that being said, and see what we're looking at on the board. So to start off, we're going to take a look at the Minnesota game versus Dallas in Minnesota, and we're going to be looking at Dalvin Cook. First prop we're going to be looking at Dalvin Cook is his 2.5 receptions. This line is far too low. He's only hit it in two of the last 5, but 2 of the last 3. He's on this upward trajectory right now. If we take a look at Cook's game log, we'll take a look at his attempts per game and his receptions per game for the last 3. So he's had 5 targets, 3 receptions, 6 targets, 2 receptions, 6 targets, 5 receptions over the last 3. This team is absolutely cooking, especially after last week's win in Buffalo. You know, they're going to do what they need to do to get it done, to win this division, to make sure that they get to where they need to get, and going through Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson is going to be the way they're going to do this. So I have firm belief that they're going to make sure the ball gets into Dalvin Cook, one of their main playmakers' hands, as many times as possible tomorrow. So let's take a look on Pinnacle and confirm the line. Make sure it is a line that is bumped in our direction to make sure we're not taking a play that has a negative line to begin with prior to our players hitting the field. So if we look at Dalvin Cook at 2.5 pass receptions right now, he's minus 167 to the over and plus 126 to the under. This line will be bumped to 3 by the morning. Anytime a line hits about 160 to minus 170 is when it gets bumped. This line is too low, like I said, and it is confirmed by the Vegas books that it is certainly too low. So you can go ahead and lock that in as your first play. Next one we're going to be looking at is Baker Mayfield. We're going to be looking at Baker's touchdown prop at 0.5. So let's take a peek at Mayfield's last 5. So Baker has hit this in 4 of the last 5 games with 1-1-1-0-2. Doesn't have to do very much, you know. 1 touchdown through the air, very possible. DPJ has been looking great. You know, they've got Amari looking good. Things are starting to fall in the direction of what Carolina needs to be somewhat successful through the air. They can't be giving the ball to Nick Chubb 35 times a game. You know, as much as they'd love to, I'm sure they do have to put some trust in Baker's arm. And 1 touchdown, I think, is incredibly doable. So let's take a look at the matchup, as I forgot to do with Dalvin. Let's take a look at his matchup first and foremost, if I can find the tab. There's so many. Alright, we'll just pull another tab up, I guess. We're just going to look up NFL DVP, defense first position, and we can just use the first one. This is what I like to use here. It's through Fantasy Plus. So we're looking at the whole season right now. You can do it, filter it however you want, but we're going to be looking at the quarterback position, and we're going to see what kind of matchup Baker is looking at. So with the matchup against Baltimore, and we are looking at touchdowns through the air. I have yet to look this up myself, so I'm curious. Baltimore, I thought they were on the higher side of things. They're about a middle of the road matchup. Top 12, it looks like. So definitely nothing to be overly afraid of. Definitely Baker can put one through the air against these guys. I have firm belief in that. Let's go over to Pinnacle, verify again that this line makes sense. This line is trending in the correct direction. So let's find the Carolina game in Baltimore. Also, not to mention, the Baltimore Ravens are, I believe, 13-point favorites. Yes, 13-point favorites. So they are going to be passing the ball in Carolina constantly. So, digging the player props, Baker Mayfield, over 0.5 touchdowns, minus 164. That's that magic area, like I said, where shit gets bumped. I don't see Baker getting bumped to 1.5 touchdowns, and I don't see them bumping it to 1, because that's just a very odd number to have a touchdown prop at, and it's going to end up in a push probably 80% of the time with Mayfield. So I don't see this being bumped, but the value is insane. So when you do put a parlay in on Prizepicks specifically, the average line comes out to minus 137 if you average the juice on each line to the payout. So I don't know if that's the exact case with the new 6-mans, but through the 2 through 5 man combinations, that is what the payout, what the average line is. So when you're finding a line at higher than minus 137 value, before your player even hits the field, you have upside in your lineup. So these are 2 picks with tremendous upside. One that will be bumped, the other that should be bumped, but they can't really bump it because they can't bump it a full touchdown because everybody would be on the under then, because it would become probably a plus 200 line. So with that being said, these are the 2 plays that I'm going to leave you with. Dalvin Cook over 2.5 pass receptions, and Baker Mayfield over 0.5 touchdowns passing. Also, I wanted to mention that there is going to be a major announcement coming in tomorrow in regards to some new things and a new direction this channel and this community is going to be heading. It is very exciting news. It will be very beneficial to 95% of the community, everybody who wants to see behind the paywall and the Patreon. Everybody's going to have an opportunity to do that very soon. So stay tuned. Monday is the big day. I will make sure to explain everything incredibly thoroughly on Monday, as well as every day probably for that whole week. I will re-explain everything very thoroughly to everybody to make sure that we can all benefit from this as a community, as that has been the goal since day one, to win with everybody else. Winning by yourself isn't nearly as much fun. So till the next one, guys, if you're tailing, I wish you the best of luck, but make sure to tail at your own discretion. Make sure to do your own research and gamble what you can afford. That being said, I wish you luck and peace.